Hey guys, welcome back. It's time we're going to take a look at the different ways that CT scans can be used to scam you. Yes, we're going to have to put that information out there. The scammers already know this stuff. For everyone that's going to be like, Rattle, you're showing the scammers how to scam us. No, we need to be more careful now than ever. This is another pitfall. This is another way that we need. It's a lot of things that we need to avoid. Again, people are going to use this and abuse this in many ways. We're going to go through 5 examples that I came up with that I guess have been discussed elsewhere. But if you guys have any additional ways that are tricky and dicky, be sure to leave it down below in the comments section. So we had initially, the news came out first in sports where they had flawless cases where they were scanning through metal briefcases. Basically, there's little to no chance that Pokemon is going to do anything about this, and retroactively, they're not really going to be able to do anything about this. So then we had some companies. We had a guy who had a garage sale. He had it, not a garage sale. He bought it from a garage. It was a $1,500 garage CT scanner. He got it up and running. He was showing the contents of packs. So at that point, it's scary. There is a very low barrier to entry in terms of finances to get this going. And do you know somebody that can do it? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Hard to say. Regardless, it turned out that there was also a company that was looking at doing this. Now, they were deceptive. They were deceptive to me. They were deceptive to sort of everyone that they were talking to. And I think it's even more so now that we got news that they're doing it for $15 now. That is scary. That is inexpensive stuff that can be scanned and abused and used. So you need to be more careful now. You always have to be very careful. You should always be buying sealed product, your Pokemon cards, from somebody that's reputable. Do not buy it from G-ballers on Facebook that look like they're going to G-ball you. Do not, that person on Instagram, they might not even own the cards that they're trying to sell you. We see it time and time again. We're not going to victim blame here. You need to be careful. You need to know what you're looking at. You need to know that it's real. And now you also need to be careful that somebody isn't abusing the fact that they can see the contents of sealed product. If you're buying sealed product, especially if you're keeping it sealed, I've been saying this forever now with the Japanese stuff, because we had juice boxes, milk or something or other. We had rocks. We had different packs. We had the hit pack just being swapped out with the serial code was different on it. You need to be careful with this stuff. Sealed product, very dangerous, super dangerous to the extreme. Now, people will get over it. People will find ways. But if you're sinking a ton of money into this stuff, you need to be extra careful. Now, quick self-promo. If you're in the Discord, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. If you sell on eBay, TCG Player, Fanatics, any of those places, put your listings in there. It's free advertising. It's kind of like a consignment service, but you sell your own stuff. Or if you're selling it through a consignment service, free promotion for your items. Whoop-de-doo. Now, the $15 thing. Before we get into the list of 5, I know the intro here. We gotta clear out some details before we get into it. $15 is absolutely scary. That's like, and yes, people are like, oh yeah, but you have to view your own data. It's not very hard. You open it up. There's even a sample thing that they show on there. That is not a barrier to entry. Is it going to take somebody that's scamming and whamming extra time that's looking to do this in more modern products? Absolutely. Buy your stuff from somewhere reputable. Be very careful. Now, let's get into the list. My 5 lists of scams that are going to happen. I can tell you right now they're going to happen. Most importantly, if you catch anyone that's doing shady stuff, bring it to my attention. We will make a video. People have to call out the people that are doing bad things. That's kind of what it comes down to. If somebody is abusing this system, this newly found system, it needs to come out front and center. You need to no longer be buying from those people. Yes, they will get caught. Scammers are dumb. They will get lazy. They will get cocky. They will get caught. And everyone needs to help each other out. Everyone needs to be on the lookout for each other. There's going to be the obvious scams. There's going to be the stuff that you should know. You need to be careful. The first scam, the obvious scam, the most obvious scam that is possibly going to be a result of this, and the one that everyone is taking into consideration, is that people are going to scan packs. They're going to keep the good ones, or they're going to sell the good ones at a premium, and they're going to sell the bad scanned packs, the duds, the sucky wuckies, without disclosing that it was scanned. The next person's going to probably scan that again, and then they're going to find out it's a dud. Do they scam the next person? Do they pass it along? Is it just going to be a game of pass it along until, people don't scam anymore? Somebody gets burned at the end of it. That's probably what's going to happen. That's the most obvious thing here. Sweet doo-doo daddy. All right, number 2. is one that was brought up by PK on his video about the matter. You're going to have people that are going to open and reseal light packs with big hits in mediocre condition. Get them scanned, sell them at a huge premium. And now this is going to work. This is a scam that is possible because people might not expect someone to repack like the Charizard from the set. But if the Charizard is like a 7, or the Charizard is like an 8 even, and someone's buying that pack with the expectation they're going to pull potentially a PSA 10, maybe it's even worse condition than that, and people don't open it. That's the thing. If you don't open it, you might not see that there's wear and tear on that card itself that is not typical of it coming out of a pack. Or even if it's packed fresh and it's got, you can pretty much tell the centering on what the cards are going to look like. There's even measurement tools on there. So it's centering. If it's centered well, but it's damaged, let's say it's got a crease, let's say it's got a dent, let's say it's got scratches all over the foil. You cannot see that without opening the pack. So maybe somebody gets a big hit from a pack and it's even packed fresh. You're gonna open it back up. You're gonna have to be able to tell that the pack wrapper has been tampered with. So same way you need a reseal, but even more dangerous because people are gonna just assume that it's good because somebody spent the money to scan it. There's a big card in there. But if you look at the price of a PSA 7 compared to what a 10 or compared to what like even the sealed product, if you grade something, it might not be worth the price of the pack, even if it's a chase card. If it came out and it's not great, sealed product sometimes outshining that in terms of value. Now that is fairly scary. Next up we have consignment. So consignment is a huge issue. Even if someone is openly scanning and selling good products at a premium, they are going to be able to hide selling scanned duds. You say, Rattle, how are they going to do this? Well, we already mentioned it. It's consignment. Consignment is scary. Consignment is good because people like to, let somebody else do the work. Consignment is good on the buyer's end because sometimes you get some sick, nasty deals. But consignment is also scary because fraudsters like to hide. As we've seen with the fraudsters who are altering cards, they sell through consignment services for a reason. It's much harder to trace the altered cards, or in this case, undisclosed dud boxes when they sell through someone else. And then how do you even prove that it's a dud box? There's no method. There's no leftover radiation from these scans. That's not a thing. I know everyone thinks that like it's like a nuclear bomb whenever something gets scanned here. It's not. You cannot use a Geiger counter. There's none of that. It's basically going to be the next person has to scan it, and eventually is somebody going to let other people know? Or is somebody going to let or disclose that it's that, or you're just going to have to assume that it's a dud box if you don't know, if there's not a scan. Kind of the same way that we have to assume that packs are weighed. And again, it's hard to weigh packs unless it's from an actual box. So sometimes they're in the middle. And there's all kinds of bad stuff that happen with that. There are limitations on these consignment companies to disclose information about the sellers, which is the huge problem. The scammers know this. The scammers will sell through there. So you need to, if it's a card, you need to be checking, especially on the sports card stuff with the trimming. You need to be checking to see if it's been trimmed, if it's not the right size. We've seen Pokemon cards pop up recently that were not the right size. So we're going to have to push, and good job on Fanatics recently with what they've done with the signatures and what they did with the card. Was it a Vaporeon? It was way too small. Good job on them removing and canceling that sale, because a lot of the times these consignment companies, back when it was PWCC, any of these other companies, you got Golden and everyone else, doesn't matter if it's a big or small consignment company, a lot of them are just they're going to put the blame on someone else. They're going to put the blame on the grading company, and they'll be like, well, it's not our problem. Grading company, ask them. Ask the grading company if it's trimmed. Meanwhile, you show them and you show the grading company before and after pictures, like Blowout has done many times, and the grading company doesn't want to pay out or do the right thing and fix the issue because it's going to cost them money. The consignment company wants to just put the blame on somebody else so they can collect their commission. But it's on them. You should, as a customer, as somebody that's buying and or selling on there, it's in your best interest that they do the right thing. It might not always be in their best interest or temporarily their best interest, but I would think that if they're honest, if they're upfront and honest, and they fix what needs to be fixed, the same way that Fanatics did recently, we gotta hope that they're doing the right thing and that they aren't allowing these scammers to be using that consignment service as a vehicle for fraud, because that's what they've been doing for years. All right, so do what you will with the CT scanning, and even if it's a company that proves themselves they're trying to do the right thing, no matter what, they might get tricked as well. So you guys do what you got to do, make your own judgments, your own opinions, but because this is so mainstream and affordable at this point in time, the CT scanning, that is, I wouldn't be buying expensive sealed on consignment at all. I would not touch it. If you don't know where it's coming from because somebody is dumping it through consignment, you shouldn't touch it. There's got to be a trail all the way back through who owns it. You need to trust whoever owned it before. You need to be more careful than ever, because not only do you have to worry about reseals, but you also have to worry about the fact that someone didn't even have to reseal it and can tell what's in the box. So, yes, there are some good uses. Maybe the consignment companies will be able to scan it. Do they sell it as scanned? We saw on PWCC, now Fanatics, where they were cutting boxes open in order to verify the packs inside, which kind of ruins the seal. So maybe that's something that they use, and they'll show you the contents of the box, and it's up to you whether you want to open it or not. But that kind of leads us into the next one. If things are scanned, especially boxes, I mean packs too, but packs kind of make sense because oftentimes you see these breakers. Remember Blake's Breaks? They had like vintage packs just kind of laying around, hanging out. Or if they do a big box break, if you can scan an entire box, you know where all the hits are. You know where the best hits are. You know where the hits are. You know which packs are the good ones. So even without rigging the selection process for who gets what pack, they can let their customers know, or their friends know, or their spouse know where the good pack is, how many in the good pack is. And if there's bidding on that, they just bid whatever. They're just going to bid whatever because they're going to win that pack because they want whatever the good card is inside it. And whether there's an option to keep it sealed or to open it, doesn't matter. They get to cherry pick the good stuff because that insider information is very easy to pass along to someone. Now, we've seen breakers that are dumb enough to be like bidding on their own stuff with a second phone. But again, it takes a little to no intelligence for them to be having their friend or having someone they know bid on that item. They can cancel the sale, or they sell the awesome pack to that individual person. Then, if it's opened on stream, big hits, they're still happening. So people aren't going to think it's rigged. They'll be like, look, he just pulled all the best cards out of that set. Well, I just got unlucky. The other people just got unlucky. They're just salty and unlucky because they didn't get the good pack. Now, guys, please, I've said it a million times. I could make, if I wanted to, shift my entire process over to exposing whatnot scams. I could make a whatnot scammer video every day. There is that much going on. And that's just the stuff that becomes visible. If there's anyone on there with half a brain that isn't a cocky asshole, they are going to be ripping people off. The amount of like gambling that is still allowed on there, and the amount that is not worth it, don't take the risk. Not to mention the fact that the platform that is allowing it to happen, the platform that allowed and propped up Blake, didn't even refund everyone that was scammed. And people are still using the platform. Like, I don't understand. What do people need to see? Like, are you that blind? Are you that addicted to gambling that you need to buy? Don't. If you have somebody that's a friend that's new to the hobby, just the best thing you could ever do for them is just steer them away from the entire breaking ecosystem. It is such a waste of money. Like, opening packs is a waste of money. If you don't enjoy it, if you enjoy it, like, dabble in it a little bit. But like, putting yourself in a position where you're likely to get scammed. And no, not every single person on there is going to scam you, and they're all going to say they're for the community and all the other fucking bullshit. They got the same rose buttholes on their hands tattooed on there. They're not doing it for the money, but they got illegal gambling all over. It blows my absolute mind that anyone in 2024 is still purchasing on whatnot. Again, to each their own. If you want to waste your money, But even if you want to gamble, do it somewhere where it's not so easily rigged. Please. Waste your money somewhere where it's legitimate. All right, so that's enough. Rigged breaks, easily going to be a thing. Definitely going to be a thing. You're going to see it. It's going to come out. And they'll be dumb enough that they do it to a friend and the same person wins all the time and eventually someone records it. Whatnot is a pain in the ass for going through footage, seeing footage, looking at who purchased things, the chat replay and all of that. Again, the platform is just so scammer friendly. It's ridiculous. Number 5, last but not least, we're going to have the scan, which isn't the actual pack or box that you're purchasing. This is I guarantee it. This is like, I can see it right now. I can see like all the time. This is going to be an all the time thing on like an Instagram or something like that, where you have a lot of people that'll use even images of cards that they don't actually own. And people will get ripped off because they pay in a method that they can't get their money back if something doesn't get sent. Again, why on earth anyone at this point in time would be purchasing off random G-Baller 69s on Instagram is beyond me. Even the people that built up a reputation are scamming on consignment services. So you think that random Joe Blow on there is just like, no, you're not going to get scammed every time, but you keep doing that. You keep purchasing, you keep paying friends and family or Venmo or whatever the fuck else with no buyer protection. You're going to get ripped off. Now there's another new way for them to rip you off. They're going to use a scan that isn't theirs. You're going to have sellers on platforms like that, or even on platforms like eBay. They're going to advertise a big hit in a scanned box. There's going to be a premium for it. People are going to be like, oh, I want a Moonbryon Evolving Skies box. And are they going to open it up? I mean, they're probably paying such a premium on it that they want to keep it sealed because it's like, oh, it's a Moonbryon. Maybe I'll open it in 20 years on my deathbed. And then they find out that it's not the right scan, that it wasn't scanned. So unless you're like scanning it again, which you're probably not, if you're shopping somewhere that you're going to get ripped off by these people, you're probably not sending it back in to double verify. And then even if you do, if you pay the wrong way or if it takes too long, and there's no longer an eBay guarantee or anything like that, but you bought it on the pretense that there's a Moonbryon in that Evolving Skies booster box. Maybe you paid triple, double, quadruple what the price of an actual box is. You paid more than a Moonbryon and a box combined because you wanted to pull it yourself. And lo and behold, it's not even in there. So maybe it's another pack or box that they actually scanned themselves, or maybe it's a stolen file or photos from something they never actually even owned. Also very possible. Again, if there's no actual method behind this madness, yes, the same company that said it was too expensive. It's too expensive, guys. That's what they told me. That's what they copy pasted to everyone else that they were sending. It's just a study. We're just studying. Would you like to work with us though? Would you like to show us, would you like to send some stuff in? Would you like to make some content about it? So bait out some advertising. Again, I don't believe a word that this company says. I think they're full of shit. I think they could have at any point in time, if they were changing directions, mentioned that in the emails that we sent back and forth. But then to be even less believable, for them to say that it's not worth their time, that they're just doing a study on it because it's interesting and everything else, and for them to post that it's $15 to do the scan, $15 per pack. They can scan anything. They can scan a box. They can scan. Everyone's like, oh yeah, but maybe they can't scan a case. They can scan a case. And when they set it up, they are going to be able to pump through those things like crazy. Other companies are going to come in. They're going to do the same thing where there's money to be made. There will be companies that come in and do this. They're going to have it set up so that they put the pack in the exact same spot. They just press the button and whoop-de-doo, it scans exactly how it needs to scan. Same with the case, same with the box, same with anything like that. So then if you have breakers that are going to go through multiple boxes through a case, and people are buying individual packs, they can easily set up their buddy. They can easily set up the person that's working in the background that's behind the camera that you can't see. It doesn't even need to be as elaborate or provable as the stupid scamming and nonsense that we've seen in previous videos that I covered time and time again. So Even if someone has a label that they created themselves, that they put, let's say they put it in an acrylic case and they put little tamper-proof things on the acrylic case themselves before they sent it in, and they're like, look, this is the one I sent in. Do not trust it. Do not believe it. You should not believe it. You're going to, if you're gullible, if you're, again, you need to only be buying this stuff from the most reputable people, and you need to know where it came from beforehand if it's expensive. Because just because it's some guy, we see it all the time with the vendors at the shows, at the Collector Carnival, where they have tables set up, like they're buying and selling product all the time. You think that they have all the receipts? They're just looking to buy it and flip it on to the next person. So a lot of this stuff, not only is it, as it gets older, it gets rare, but a lot of this stuff, as it gets older and less abundant, because people are opening it, people are losing it, whatever, it gets damaged, it gets opened on rip and strippers. Then what? How much of it is going to exist that's actually not scanned, that hasn't been scanned by somebody that previously owned it? So the way that people collect sealed stuff needs to completely change. The same way that if someone's buying a pack and they assume that it's weighed, that it's light, if someone isn't pulling it out of a box and guaranteeing the fact that it's heavy, you're going to have to assume that it's scanned. You're going to have to assume that the contents are as terrible as they can possibly be. You have to assume there's no alt art in there if it's an Evolving Skies. If there's no Evolution alt art, maybe there's one of the cheaper ones in there. That's the kind of thing that we're dealing with here. And again, let me know if you guys think of any other scams that are coming on the way from this. I'm sure there's many more that'll develop. As they do, we'll make sure to call them out. Be careful out there, guys. There's yet another way to get ripped off in Pokemon. Again, the barrier to entry, more than anything, is like learning stuff and learning to buy from reputable places. I don't give a shit if it's $20 less. If it's $100 instead of $120. If it's let's say it's $900 instead of $1,000 for a box. But you know where that $1,000 box came from? Seek that out. You might have to pay a little bit extra. You might have, it's the same thing with the goods and services. It's the same thing with like buying and selling on eBay. Knowing that you're buying somewhere, at least protecting yourself, knowing what all the possibilities are, know who you're buying from, know what the origin of whatever it is, unless it's a single card, then you'll probably be pretty safe. Make sure you can identify whether it's been altered or not, if it's got blue colored in on the backside of it, all of that stuff. Many areas to get ripped off. This is not like a everyone is out to get you kind of video. I don't want it to come across that way. I just want everyone to be extra careful. Look out for each other out there. And the most important thing with this is going to be to just absolutely run out anyone that run up and run out anyone that's exploiting people on this stuff. And if you guys see anything of the sort, please do bring it my way. If there's ever anything urgent, message me in the Discord. Hit me with the old @Rattle in the Discord. Should be in there anyway, so you can promote your eBay listings. Make sure you're selling. eBay, TCG Player now too. If you're selling on TCG Player, put your account in there, or if you list new things or anything exciting, stick them in the Discord. And thank you everyone for using the link tree. Much appreciated. There's a bunch of affiliate links on there that you can click before you shop to support the channel at no additional charge to yourself. Make sure it's something that you want and you're buying anyway. But much thanks to anyone that's been doing that. And then also there's a bunch of discount codes for a bunch of the stuff that I really enjoy, that I like, that I use myself, where you can get a discount and it supports the channel at the same time. I would much rather you do that than super chats, than the super stickers, super dicker lickers, all of that stuff down below. I appreciate when someone does that, but I would rather, especially if you guys are on a budget, especially if you still need things for your collection, if you have goals, do it this way, please. And thank you. Much appreciated. Get the stuff you want, get the stuff you like, enjoy the hobby. Don't let this this is not doomsday, but we are going to have to adjust. We're going to have to make sure that the bad guys are outed if they try to exploit this, and make sure that people are cautious when they're buying their sealed product. I guess more so than ever. You should always be, but that's it. That's all I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye.